New kid on the block, we meet the young man tipped to be golf's new Tiger Woods. Football, Aussie style, why the Australians are taking their game to South Africa. How Malaysia's best sailor took on the world in the Monsoon Cup. And Super Bowl success, why the Giants and the native Indians are celebrating American football's big day in Phoenix. Welcome to Sportsworld, Al Jazeera's regular look at sport around the globe. I'm Carthignana Seagram. Sports coaches and agents constantly scour the world looking for the next big thing, the kind of young talent that could take their game by storm. Well, there's a new name on the lips of those in the know in the golf world. Rory McIlroy, at just 18 years of age, has shown such promise that he's being touted as the next Tiger Woods or Sergio Garcia. The teenager spoke exclusively to Sportsworld's Joanna Gazioska.
1997 was the year of the Tiger Woods. At the age of just 21, he won the Masters by 12 strokes, his ferocious 350-yard drives wowing the crowd. 2 years later, it was Sergio Garcia who burst on the scene at the PGA Championship. The 20-year-old finished second that week, his charisma making him a firm favourite with the fans. In 2001, another 20-year-old hit the headlines. Adam Scott won the Alfred Dunhill Championship, the Australian drawing parallels between himself and his compatriot Greg Norman. It seems almost every year there's a new young player being touted as the next big thing in golf.
But in 2008, the name being whispered excitedly here in the galleries is that of Rory McIlroy.
My dad got me into golf when I was about 2 years old. I mean, ever since that, I really, I sort of found as if, I found a talent at the game, and Dad sort of didn't really push me or anything, but I just really wanted to play, and ever since then, I've just sort of got better and better, and it's got me to where I'm at today.
McIlroy turned heads when he finished tied for 42nd, the highest placed amateur at the 2007 Open Championship in Carnoustie, catching the eye of his hero, Tiger Woods.
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was really starting to play quite a lot, Tiger Woods had just sort of came on the scene and won the Masters and stuff when I was 7 or 8 years old. So Tiger was he was a big hero, and he still is. He's my idol, I suppose, in a way. He's the one that really inspired me to become a professional golfer.
In September, at the age of 18, he turned professional, and within a month he had tied for third place at the Alfred Dunhill Links tournament in Scotland. But what makes him so different from the other young guns in the field?
He's a fantastic player and certainly a star of the future, if not already now. So, no, I was very impressed. His ball striking is fantastic, and he obviously plays well beyond his years.
McIlroy has the sporting media buzzing over his talent, prompting organisers at last week's Dubai Desert Classic to hold a press conference just for him.
Everyone wants to talk to you. How do you cope with that kind of attention?
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It's something that comes with part of what as part of what I do, and the way I see it is, if people don't want to talk to you, then you mustn't be playing that well. So I mean, if people want to talk to you, obviously you're doing stuff good.
His amateur performances prompted the top agency ISM to sign him up, adding the name of McIlroy to a stable which already includes the likes of Ernie Els, Darren Clarke and Lee Westwood.
Well, I played a lot with Rory because he's in the same management group as me now, but I played a lot with him when he was a bit younger as well, 15 years of age, and he looked a very good talent then. Now he's turned pro and he's obviously burst onto the scene with some good results. He's another person that in the future should really be regarded as a Ryder Cup stalwart, because I think he's got a lot of game.
McIlroy is certainly being tipped as a future Ryder Cup star, and what better man to give him advice than Colin Montgomerie, a player who's represented Europe 8 times and helped them win the trophy on 5 occasions.
It's a marathon, this, it's not a sprint, and people expect people to do better too soon. I mean, I was 25 when I turned pro. I'm now, 44? So I've been, 20 years at this, and it's taken me that time to sort of get really, really comfortable out here. So don't expect it to happen too soon, and be patient, really. Patience, it's a terrible word in life, be patient, but we all need it.
That's something Rory McIlroy has plenty of. And for now, he's keeping his goals simple.
There's a lot of travelling and a lot of living out of suitcases and going to different hotels every week. My life at home and stuff hasn't changed much, you know. I still go home and see my friends and family and everything's the same there. And I mean, I just want to go out and enjoy myself and learn from my experiences, you know. I've got myself into contention a couple of times this year, and I've learned from those experiences, and then I'll just try and move forward. But it would be nice to finish in the top 100 in the world at the end of the year. That's probably a goal that's I feel as if it's quite achievable.
Rory McIlroy has a maturity and a down-to-earth attitude to the game which belie his age. Even for someone so young, who's to say he won't be able to achieve the same dizzy heights of golfing stardom as his hero? Joanna Gajarowska, Al Jazeera, Dubai.
He's definitely one to keep an eye on. Now, football fever may be gripping the African continent as the Cup of Nations reaches the closing stages. But in South Africa, a different form of the game has been putting down roots. The nation that will host the Soccer World Cup in 2 years' time is being targeted as the breeding ground for the new crop of Aussie rules football players. And as Dan Williams reports, the AFL organisers have high hopes for the sport outside Australia.
The townships of South Africa. Millions of people living in severe poverty on less than $1 a day. The daily struggle to survive means such luxuries as organised sport for children have been neglected. The Soccer World Cup might be coming, and the Rugby World Cup is already here, but sport for all is not, although that could be about to change. The AFL, of all sports, is looking to fill that void. They have set up various programmes in townships like this one in Johannesburg, and it's not about targeting the most talented athletes.
We had to make a decision on where we would start. The township seemed to be crying out for structured participation opportunities in sport, so it was an obvious place to get our foot in the door, I suppose, up against the big sports of soccer and rugby and cricket and so forth. So a very obvious target for us. Young black South Africans are very much like the Indigenous talent of Australia, where they are athletic, they have the right shape and size, and they have no fear. So they're willing to try anything. And that's a great attribute to have in Australian rules football.
Yeah.
But there's no doubt the AFL hope they can unearth a few gems. This is the High Performance Centre in Pretoria, and the most talented children from around the country are attending a talent camp.
We're bringing in around about 40 kids from 20 different locations across South Africa, from the 4 provinces we're working in, ranging in age from about 13 through to 18, and it's a chance for us to test the potential talent that's out there. It's an extension of the Footy Wild program that we began in mid-2007.
In attendance is Adam Ramanauskas.
You can't reach.
An AFL legend who has not just won many accolades on the pitch, he's also beaten cancer 3 times to continue his playing career. He's confident the initiative in South Africa will reap rewards.
I don't see why not when, you know, like with these kids' attitudes already. I think there's going to be a few South African kids in Australia playing AFL football very soon.
One of the coaches here knows more than most the opportunities that AFL offers. Tutu once won a football scholarship to Australia, although he thought he was off to play soccer.
I just finished school about 10 years ago, and there was an ad in the newspaper, and they were looking for a young South African to go for a football scholarship in Australia. And at that time I was playing soccer, and to a young South African, football means soccer. And I applied, I think it was a soccer scholarship, and to my surprise, when I landed in South Australia at Unley Oval in Adelaide, they were talking about AFL football. But I stuck to the game, and I'm here now. Good boy.
The AFL has grand plans to develop the game in South Africa. The West Coast Eagles have already been here on a pre-season tour, which included staying in a Zulu village and putting the kids through their paces in a local township.
Hey, on your marks, get set, go. Did you mark all the fight, did you?
Oh, I think it's just a fantastic experience for all players. Most players haven't been to South Africa at all, and to come out to the townships and communities and teach the kids some footy has been very enjoyable and very rewardful as well.
But the fact remains, Aussie rules in South Africa is a strange concept. Can it really compete with the big 3 of rugby, soccer and cricket?
Ready? Go. Footy's played in, I think, 16 countries where they receive some level of support from the AFL. They've identified South Africa as a priority international market because they can see enormous potential here. But it could be, I guess, the first country that it becomes a really serious investment, and we'd like to think so here as well.
In the next 10 years, I think an 8-year-old this year will definitely be at the level of playing in the AFL. It could be earlier, because some of these kids are very talented. If they get the right development and the right training, they definitely will be AFL players in the next 5 or 6 years.
Whether the AFL will see any return on their investment here in South Africa remains to be seen, but you only have to look at the children to realise that the organisation is providing opportunities that other sports have failed to deliver. Dan Williams, Al Jazeera, Pretoria.
Right, don't forget to have a look at our website, aljazeera.net/English, where you can get all the latest sports news and find out more about the show. Stay with Sports World, because coming up, how Malaysia's best sailor took on the world and lost in the Monsoon Cup.